K. Anand, who's going to talk to us about the tough battle of TV leadership. Please help me welcome him with a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you for the honor of addressing you today as part of Trust Conference on a subject that is really close to our heart, to stay leaders in our category of television. Besides November 8th, there was a bigger event that actually happened in our lives, November 1st, when my dear friend said goodbye and left Arnab. And times have been very exciting since then. I think it's about 9 months. And I'm very happy that I'm standing here today to be able to tell a story that has been exciting, exhilarating, and I think something that I can keep speaking about for a long, long time to come. So I think when this invitation to speak here came up, and I was looking at Trust Conference and what do we have in this area, I realized that this leadership battle that we talk about is completely and totally and entirely about this one word, trust. Business, and it's not just about TV leadership. I think TV viewership or any product operation, any business leadership is fundamentally about convincing people to join you as investors, to join your effort to work with you, to be employed with you, to put their shoulder to the wheel along with you, and to convince consumers to buy into your offerings. So I think business leadership is about getting higher quantity and higher quality of people to come and join you, to convince more people to come and join you. Convince them about what? Convince them about an idea. So success and leadership is about convincing more people, better people. As much as this ability to convince is important, as much as the soft elements of it is important, as much as the brands and the trust that go in, at a zero base when we start, I think the most important thing, much stronger, much bigger than all this, is the power of the idea that you want to convince people about. Now, if you look at the dictionary meaning of the word idea, it is a collection of thoughts, is an idea. And there are two different ways that it is defined. An idea is a suggestion. The idea is a name, it's a purpose. So from the idea word, which is something that everybody uses, I would rather go with the word purpose, because I think purpose is a better description as to what is that filter through which we can conduct our activities to ensure that we are able to deliver success, to deliver leadership the way we have been able to demonstrate. Purpose inspires instantly. Purpose inspires kinship. Purpose inspires empathy. Purpose inspires respect. Purpose inspires contribution. Purpose inspires other people to join you. Purpose inspires, in our world, advertisers. Purpose inspires social tribes to sort of, come after you on social media. Purpose inspires viewers after a certain stage. When you look at TV viewership, usually it's the programs which actually drive viewership. But we believe that purpose also drives people on parity programs. People move to platforms on the basis of the purpose that they believe the platform stands for. So I think most of what we do, I would say, 75 to 80% of the success of our products, and I am proud to say that most of our products are successful. Times Now, ET Now the new one, Mirror Now, Movies Now, MNX recently launched, all are in the top 1, 2, or maximum 3 in their rankings and ratings. And honestly, ratings is not just the only way to sort of look at leadership. But we are very clear that when we launch products, we go after leadership, and the single most important active ingredient that we really sweat over is purpose. And that brings me to my most closest to heart example, my 3-month-old channel, which I launched on March 26th, called, I think 4 months, sorry, called Mirror Now. Mirror Now is nothing but purpose personified. I mean, it is absolutely something that was completely counterintuitive. It had all sorts of naysayers inside the team, inside the business, within the shareholder group. Everybody around said, if you have Times Now, and if it is doing so well, and there is only 5 channels, in the meanwhile it became actually 6 channels, and with Mirror Now it's 7. There is no sense going after, there is no way that you can sort of be of any use. It will only eat into your existing leadership, and there is not going to be any way that it's going to sort of make any impact. And that again is the place where we looked at, the team sat and decided to go after what can we do in exclusion of the current crowded market, the current theme, the flavor of the market, flavor of the, I wouldn't say the season, flavor of the last 7-8 years, and flavor of the next 5-7 years, I think at least. Nationalism, which we are the number 1 with Times Now. We are right up there when we put India first. Parody content, if you look at the channels, and I do that because I don't think all of you all would do what I do. I put 5 channels at one, 6 channels at one time and watch, so I know every channel is actually playing the same video with different phrases with the same meaning. So parody content, what else can we show? And that is why the purpose that we worked, I think, for at least 2.5 to 3 months on designing that two-word phrase, you first. You first basically is an expression of, if nationalism is what the top channels are doing, whether it's Times Now and after Times Now, India Today, and now Republic, you have what we look at post-nationalism. I mean, okay, India is all good, it's in a great place, but what about me? So we put Indians first, and we put a whole lot of exclusions when we look at this purpose for which Mirror Now was conceptualized, and that means that they have a lot of don'ts when they look at what they put on the channel, and those don'ts, the set of no's that determine what goes on the channel is what has inspired the viewers. And if you've noticed, I mean, all of you all have been in the market, have been in noticing media, we have done very, very little advertising, very little promotion. But the way this channel has taken off, the way the channel has become a darling of its constituency, its viewership base, I'm proud to say today the numbers came this week because of Independence Day. We had numbers coming on Friday. We have for the last 3 weeks now surpassed NDTV, and this week in fact we've surpassed CNN as a channel which was only working on its purpose and basic distribution. There is no steroids, there is no landing pages, there is no other supports that we are sort of putting onto this channel, and the channel is continuously growing. Each time we put an inspired video which is totally and completely sort of on this purpose of you first, we get between 7.5 to 10 million views. And today, just now before I came here, I was told by the team that we had taken up an issue about 2 months back about safety locks, child locks in the back seat of cabs is not necessary. And what was happening was a lot of crimes that we found in cabs that were done in the last few years was shown to be where the driver was using the child lock to disable the passenger, the back seat passenger, from being able to open the door or window, and that was a huge safety issue for women. Just now, in fact, the government in Delhi has recommended that the safety lock should be disabled, and that's the kind of impact that this channel has had, and that is entirely and completely inspired by this purpose statement of you first. Of course, action begins here is the formula for these kind of channels. I mean, Times Now uses it, but Times Now uses it in a different place. And here we have Mirror Now coming in such a short notice, such a short period, and coming with a completely different concept and making an impact there. At the company level, similarly, Times Network, we have in the last 2 years or so expanded exponentially from 300 odd head-ends. We are now available at 2,500 head-ends. We have, our viewership has practically gone up about 3 times in the last 3 years. We have gone up from about 5 channels to 13 channels in the last 1.5 years. And all this is happening seamlessly without much effort, because at the company level also, Times Network has been imbued with a purpose, now or nothing, to be what the channel, the company is focused on, being on top of the pyramid, to be leaders on the top of the audience pyramid, and the teams, without any much coaching and training and prodding, are able to expand into this particular audience, because the purpose is that clear. So besides inspiring, purpose also works towards clarifying for the organization. What besides purpose? I would sort of want to use the last 2 minutes to talk about the case of Times Now. As I said, with Arnab walking, we were sort of faced with a situation where the largest element of the brand Times Now, I think when I came into this company 3 years back, Times Now was known for 3 things: Times Now itself, Arnab, and Newsar. And here we had a situation where out of that, one element is walking away, and God knew that, and most of the market also sort of said that the other parts are also sort of going to have such an association that's going to be sort of just going to sort of sit. But I think this is something that, at least at my level, way back in 2014, I had requested Prasoon and the McCann team to come in and distill for us the brand formula. And instead of having the line, a simple baseline that we used to have in those days called Times Now, always with the news, we had a long amount of discussion to distill the purpose. What do we stand for? What do we do as a channel? And Action Begins Here, which came out at that time, in my mind, became a sort of a secret formula that I'm going to keep, and which will be my brief to the next editor when he came, that please deliver these 3 words and we should be able to keep ourselves head above water. Obviously, besides the purpose, there is also processes, and that processes comes with people. We were happy and we're lucky that we were able to keep the people back. Most of our people stayed back, and they worked with a resolve to ensure that the purpose that Times Now stood for was correctly met. We did not change the stance. We did not change the look. In fact, there was a lot of push for that. The detailed orientation of the processes remained, and we were able to keep doing whatever we were doing earlier. We stayed at 40% market share. In fact, when Arnab left, we were 41%. In the first week, 1 week before Arnab launched, we were 44%. After he launched, there was 6 or 7 weeks of skirmish. In the last 4 or 5 weeks, the water is cleared. This week, we are 38%, with the remaining 42% accommodating this new channel launch. So that is what purpose does. That is what staying true to what you stand for and what you promise does when it comes to executing products and businesses. I think that's what I wanted to talk.
Mr. Anand, thank you so much. Well, before I let you go, I'm going to throw the floor open to any questions that there may be. So if you could just stay with me for a minute or two. Yes, we have a question there. Can we have a mic reach that gentleman, please? So please do identify yourself before you ask the question. This is the mic.
I have a small question for you. Do we need to care any word of caution when we launch a product or service with an idea of purpose?
Yeah, you have to be true to it. The only word of caution is that you can always get waylaid by the need to be successful. I think the need to be successful can cause you to sort of stray from the path of the purpose. And for instance, if I was to look at Mirror now that the channel is established with about 500,000 reach, I can easily sort of, an editor could easily sort of try to put in topics which are known more for being able to get GRPs out of, and go that way for the sake of success through leadership, through numbers. I think the most important thing is you have to have a very, very strict rule book by which you go when you're sort of wanting to execute purpose.
We have a question. Can you have a mic, please? The first table.
So, I've been watching Times and Mirror now. You said there has to be purpose, but I somehow have a feeling that while Times is very, somehow become very nationalistic now, and then Mirror now is very much anti-establishment and Faye, your Faye is this is, I don't know what's her name is? Faye, yeah. So Faye is very much anti-establishment and anti, the current government and all. So how do you say the purpose is same? How do you say the...
No, I don't think that would be fair to say that Faye is, or Mirror now is anti-establishment or anti this or that government. As I said, Times now stands for India First. In fact, the editor's program is called India Upfront, which is another version of India First. So Times now looks at the idea of India as more important than the Indian. So, and I'm sure there might be people who would differ from my point that I'm going to say just now. So when you pick up an Indian and tie him up on a jeep and parade him, Times now will support the idea of India, which motivated that organization to do that, and not really sort of talk about the Indian. Not that Times now is not sensitive to the Indian, but Times now will talk about why India needs to do that. Now, incidentally, Mirror now is not going to do defense content. That's a requirement that I have. Mirror now will not do any defense-related or Kashmir or Pakistan-related content. But Mirror now will talk for the Indian. Now, talking for the Indian, if it becomes anti-establishment, that means that establishment is anti-Indian. And therefore, I think there is no reason for us to not talk about it. So, you will see her talk about, what happened in the hospital day before yesterday, and if that is anti-establishment, so be it. We talk about frothing lakes in various places. We talk about bridges that are getting that may not be as strong as they are supposed to be. We talk about safety for women. We talk about health, pollution. Those are what we stand for. So we will talk about it. See, honestly, the format of television that we are talking of, which currently masquerades as news, is actually opinionated debates about issues which are relevant or audience friendly. So we needed to pick up something which made sense to a lot of people that, everybody's talking about this because you're just listening to that, a lot of hot air and coming off. And for whatever that good does good to those people who watch it, because a lot of people do. We are now talking about picking up more relevant issues, and that's what Mirror now is doing. The style is the same. It is action begins here. Only thing is, we will not do what these guys do, and these guys will not do what those guys do. There's a strict division. And they talk to each other. They're not anti this and that.
Well, we may have time for one last quick question. Alright, we don't have any. Ms. Anand, thank you so much for deep diving into TV leadership and taking us